Best way I find is trying to think of a feeling, trying to think of a vibe. And then after I've got a feeling in mind, it's all right, now how do we recreate this feeling? Is this feeling better captured with the chord progression to start it off? Should I start it off with more like a drum groove? Would I use a sample for this? Do I flip the sample? What key should it be in? And then after that, it's okay, what genre are we going to go with? Taking it from there, building up upon the beat. I normally start with a loop, like most producers do, and then I'll kind of go from there, arrange the beat out to taste. Sometimes I'll have a reference track or something for arrangement, but a lot of the time it's really just what feels like it should change here. Should there be a transition? If a vocalist is on it, what are they going to do? Are there spaces for pockets and everything in the mix? And then just taking it from there, really. Couple different ways. If I know there's a vocalist that's going to be on it, then I'll try to think of certain chord progressions and certain keys that invoke certain feelings. Obviously, certain genres like R&B are more based in feelings of love and things of that nature. So if I'm working with a vocalist that wants to make more of a love-based song, then I know, okay, love, emotion, 7 chords. Let's bring in the feeling. Maybe we'll hit a ninth. If they're looking for something more soulful, let's just add more to that chord. Let's make it a 9, 13. Let's just play all the keys at the same time. Because I feel that like with neo soul, it's just massive chords, and when people play it out, it gives more different sort of feelings, but it really connects with you. So it really depends on where I'm trying to take it. If it's a song for myself, then I try to think of what emotion I'm feeling right now and how I can further build upon that emotion. And if I don't feel that emotion when the track's done, it's not done. It's scrapped. We're starting again. It could be the greatest song, could be the greatest beat. Doesn't matter. If it doesn't feel how you want it to feel, then you haven't done what you set out to do in the first place. And people might not feel that, but you'll feel that. That's the main thing. It's like if it doesn't feel right to you, it's not. As far as production goes, sound selection, like building up a sound library so you know when you think of the greatest producers or certain producers, they've all got something that's iconic of them, whether it's certain sounds, certain grooves that they use, but a lot of that is based off their sound libraries. You really need to build up on that. So when you start doing certain techniques that you're trying to develop a certain sound or certain feel, you've got all the sounds there. Another way is, I guess, producer tags. I'm having a cool producer tag that's gonna help people identify your production style, even if they don't identify it sonically as of just yet. They'll be able to identify it with that tag there and then just visual, keeping things visual, like beat making videos and stuff like that are things I'm looking at implementing like over the next couple of weeks and the next couple of months. And I feel like stuff like that will really give people more of an insight into the mind of a producer, into how things are made. Not that anybody really cares, but it's it's interesting to other producers and helps them get an understanding of your workflow, helps artists understand that workflow, and from there builds chemistry, makes better music. Definitely on a deeper level, but of course, as an artist, sometimes it's easy to fall into the hype. But I find falling into the hype loses the meaning, and if you're trying to create meaning, you're just conflicted. You know something doesn't feel right, and then from there, it just sends you off on this weird thought process where you're trying to appease other people, but you're not appeasing yourself. So you're not making the music you want to make. You're making the music you think other people want to hear, but the music other people want to hear is the music that you want to make. So it's really conflicting. Like you see a lot of artists that are really major doing their thing and have a lot of hype, but they only got that hype from being their true self and building upon that, cultivating on it. And then there's also the business, the marketing, the this and that, the persistency behind it. A lot of people don't see that. So these major artists have a lot of hype around them, but that hype is from meaning. They have purpose. They know what they're doing. They are doing this for a reason. They're trying to feed their family. So I guess it's really following meaning. What does this mean to you? How does it make you feel? Where does this song take you? Because if you're not the biggest fan of your own music, nobody else is going to be. You have to love what you do first and foremost from the ground up. It needs to take you somewhere. And if it doesn't, you need to reevaluate, start again. Like you can always remake something. Like being someone that's creative, it's a roller coaster of emotions, really. Like you're gonna have highs, you're gonna have lows, but from your biggest highs will come the greatest lows and vice versa. Like when you're really down and depressed, like you might be stuck with a mix and or something like that, and everything just feels wrong. And then you listen to it the next day and everything sounds fine. Then it's like, what was wrong there? Your mind state at the time, like you might just be sad for something and then think everything sounds trash. And then the next day, just be in a better mood and everything sounds better. But the main thing is having that meaning there behind the music. So then you know when you listen to something, it makes you feel a certain way, this way and that way. And then you come back to those emotions. And it's fine to go with the hype. It's good to have fun. It's good to make uplifting music, but always staying true to yourself and your true artistry. You need to know yourself as a person. And as an artist, you always find that you develop along the way, and you might do something on a track that correlates to something that's going on in your life. And then every time you listen to that, it takes you back to that place, takes you back to that feeling, and you can reflect on it, be like, I've evolved past it. Or maybe I haven't, maybe you're still feeling those certain feelings. Maybe it wasn't necessarily something negative. You expand upon it. So definitely meaning. Everything should have a meaning. But not everything has to have a meaning. That makes sense. Honestly, man, beatboxing. Like just sitting there, like if I hear a melody or something, if I have like some chords down or something like that, just sitting there beatboxing, just trying to work out a little groove or something like that, and vice versa. If there's already drums there, it's humming out a melody, and then from there, like it starts, I guess, formulating the beat in your head, and then it's just a matter of transposing that through your door. So with drums, it's relatively easy. Sometimes with melody, it becomes a little bit harder. And then again, it's sound selection. So, like, what sounds do you want to create the certain melody that you have in mind? What instruments would work the best? Should you be outsourcing musicians, or is it better to keep it in house and work in a door? Just flip a sample right now, or like, yeah, there's multiple different ways to go about it. But once you get into that flow state, things tend to kind of flow a little bit easier. You're not really thinking, you're just doing. And I find, well, pardon me, I find that that's when the best music's made, when you're not really thinking about what you're doing, you're just doing it. And then afterwards, when the track's done, you're like, that's kind of what I was thinking the whole time. Like you're so submerged and lost within that moment. Time doesn't really matter. You get into a flow state, like I was saying before, and flow states can be achieved in so many different ways. And I feel like every artist or anybody that's creative chases that flow state because we've all been in it at some point. We're just trying to tap back in. We're trying to do different things to tap back into that flow state, to be at the peak of our creativity where where it's so effortless. Like when I listen to Drake songs, it doesn't sound like he's trying. It really doesn't. It just sounds like he's just like, just walks in the studio and just starts talking. But if other people try to recreate that, it's part of my French. It is complicated to do if you try to recreate something that somebody did so effortlessly because they weren't trying. So it's like, don't try in that sense. Let it come naturally. Tap into that inner flow state. I don't know what it is. It's that feeling, like, when you're in the zone. You're in the zone. When you're in the zone, you're in the zone. You just want to be in that zone. You don't want to leave that zone. You sleep in that zone. You wake up in that zone, party in that zone, make love in that zone. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, like, better do your thing. Oh, tips and tricks. Um, like I was saying before, if you're mixing vocals, try to get them as clean as possible before any plugins are added. Get rid of all the breaths, get rid of all the clicks, balance out the volumes on the audio clips with like some clip gain staging or automation, and then start going into your mixing after that. Start with some subtractive everything, DS, subtractive EQ, get all the bad stuff out, and then enhance everything later. Um, or a cool technique that I learned with reverb on your chain is after your reverb, if it's side chain, to put auto tune after that. To auto tune your reverb, then your reverb's in key, your delays are in key. That was something I found really cool. I found you could have a rap vocal that isn't necessarily melodic rap, just straight rap vocals. They're not really singing. So if you try to auto tune it too much, you lose the pronunciation of vocals and everything. But adding that auto tune on the reverb and delays give it more of a harmonic melodic feel, without it being too prominent on the lead vocals. That was a really cool tip. Another one was compressing your delays so that they duck when a word first hits and then are amplified in those little gaps between words. So then you don't have to like go and physically put all the delays in certain places or worry about it meshing with other things and bleeding over and making things muddy. That was just something really cool. That blew my mind. That was a really helpful tip for myself. Like that changed everything. I was like, how do these people have these delays doing all the stuff at the same time, but it's always there, but it's not there, and then it's loud and then it's quiet. It was that. That was the one. That was the one tip that I mean I saw it in YouTube somewhere. That's another tip. YouTube, like, bro, everything is on YouTube. Everything and anything, every mixing effect is on YouTube. So much gold out there. So many different people killing it. Just with tutorial videos, like that's another cheat code. Watch tutorial videos. If you have like a block of any shape or form, you're struggling to do something, watch a tutorial video. Like, once you understand your DAW and plugins, like it really doesn't matter what DAW plugins they're using. You don't need to go and buy like the best EQ out there. Although the Q3 is pretty crazy, and Fat Filter is having a 25% off sale for their Black Friday. So it's just crazy. Today's Black Friday. I don't know if you have the Fat Filter stuff, but that Q3, man, whoo, busting. Um, Another thing is don't rush the process. Like things happen when they happen. Sometimes you're not gonna finish every song you start, and that's okay. It's being content with that, knowing that not everything you start will be finished, but being happy in the process along the way. You don't strive for the finished product. Strive to have fun in that moment while creating, and then the finished product will just emerge. It'll just be there, and you'll be like, "Oh, it's finished. It's done. I'm happy. Let's put this out to the world. Let's spread some love." Yeah, tips, man, tips.